What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 72. Woo!
There are so many.
Yes. We are live, so if you're watching live, join us in the live chat, and if you're watching later, no worries, comment down below. And the other thing about Exciting Live, which will be part of our introductions, we have a special guest!
Yay!
Yay! Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. So we'll
How are you
also
doing
go
tonight?
down.
Great.
We'll go down the line for anybody who is new here. Hello, I am Carrie Lane.
I'm Katie Cullen.
And I'm Caitlin Hutson.
Yes, who
Welcome.
you recognize or not recognize per se from the new movie Knights of the Zodiac. She has a mask on and is super cool in that movie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, mask and different hair, no longer red.
Yeah.
Well, you should let people know part of that was really your hair, because that was impressive to learn.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
about half of it. And they would put the extensions in at the beginning of the week, and then I'd keep them throughout the whole week. So
Were you like, yes.
Oh, I felt so fabulous. It was great.
The selfies, just like, look at this. Look
There
at these
it
locks.
was.
You're like, here's
Lots of
my hair.
Yes.
Yes. Looking over, we got the live chat. We got Geek U says hello.
Hey, I know
Hello.
that guy.
Nice.
Hell
we
yeah.
we got all we love having new people on here. Like I wanted to. Okay. I was like, wait, I have it, and boom, yay.
There we go.
So we have
Got
Knights
that
of
lower
Zodiac,
third.
and well, wait, don't I have a? We used to have a thing.
I thought you had one already.
I know. I was gonna say it's.
Where'd it
you know,
go?
bring you that Monday energy.
Mhm.
But yes, Caitlin, please tell us, how did you get involved with Knights of the Zodiac, and tell us about your character.
Yes. So it was interesting. Knights of the Zodiac originally came to me way before production started. I was submitted as just strictly an actor for it.
Okay.
And then, didn't hear back, as you tend to not in this industry. And then maybe like a year and a half later, got wind of it again through friends of mine who were going to be involved on the stunt team. Andy Chang is the stunt coordinator, and he was the second unit director. He is an incredible guy. He comes from the Jackie Chan stunt team, and he was working on putting his team together, and they needed a female martial arts person to double the role of Marin. So I got submitted and was lucky enough to get that. And then they were like, by the way, can you also do the acting stuff on the day? Because it's a masked character, and productions, it just makes more sense to just have one person there. So I did the acting and the stunts, and then they ended up later on, like after we wrapped, finding a voice actress to do the British accent and everything, because they wanted it to be I think like Sean Bean in it. Obviously he's British and just fit that world. And so yeah, that's how I got this really unique opportunity to do like the stunts and the acting for the role of Marin. And then the actor or the voice actress was able to add that extra elevated performance as well.
So you did stunts, combat, wire work, all of the above. Was there anything outside of your usual repertoire that you had to learn for this, or was this like all the greatest hits?
There was a lot of stuff I had to work on. For example, even though the screen fighting is something I do, my background is in karate, and we had a lot of our fight style inspired by Kung Fu, and particularly for Marin, thank you, Eagle style, or Eagle Claw, obviously, Eagle Marin. And that is like a very like back strength. I can't it's very hard. And so there were days where all the guys on the team were like doing some choreography, building some stuff, and then I was in the corner. I called it my timeout corner, just practicing forms, just Kung Fu forms, because I wanted to get it ingrained in my body so that I could make the choreography look good on the day, because you add all the other elements too, and it makes it much harder. And then the wires, I had never done wire work to that extent before.
Really?
Not blind. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, how well were you, like, could you see through that? Because it looks solid from our viewer perspective.
There were tiny little pinpricks. But like
Jeez.
then you add the hair and the dust. And like when you're doing those wire works, I told my partner Brandon, I was like, I'm blind, so like if I hit you, it's your fault because I can't see. So sorry. He was
Oh,
McKinney's
man.
stunt double. So I would just go at him. So yeah, doing it while just trusting my body was new, and then also I had never done anything quite that high before, like the 35 foot dive bomb.
Yeah.
Was a little freaky the first time, and then after the 40th time, less freaky.
Yeah.
Well,
First time, I can't see. I'm going off a rock. 40th time. Let's go.
Let's just do it.
I was gonna say, go follow her on Instagram because she's posted awesome video and behind the scenes of this incredible action and exciting stuff on set.
Thank you. Yeah. You get to see our rigging leader, our rigging coordinator, Brandon. My gosh, he's this giant hulk of a man, and I trust him with my life, like quite literally. You just the thing where I jump down, you would think it's like operated by heavy machinery. No, it's just me on one side and then him on the other side, and and when he pulls down, I go off, and then when I go down, he goes up, and then he just lets go and falls, and it's the most insane thing I've ever seen. So yeah, honestly, like at least 50% of the credit to that gag goes to him, probably more.
Dang.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of behind the scenes work, are there any behind the scenes stories you haven't gotten the chance to tell that you'd like to, or are there any that are out there that you would like to emphasize or draw more attention to?
Ooh. Oh man, that's a good one.
I mean, people like behind the scenes stuff.
So
we get to see what's there, and sometimes we get to see the blooper reel, but like,
yeah,
you never quite get all the stories.
I don't know. I'm gonna say this one because I think it's super cool and endearing. When we were first training, McKenna came in early to start training with us, and I think you guys probably know he was in one of the Kenshin movies. So he already had like a pretty solid movement background, and it was just a matter of like adapting him to our stuff. And he's around the same age as all the guys, and I call my team, the stunt team I was a part of, the boys, because it was like 10, 20, 30 something guys and then me, and they're all anime nerds, and it was very like, it's like a nerd camp almost.
Yeah. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. So before McKenna got too busy, he would come after rehearsal sometimes and go and play like Super Smash Bros with us, which I just think it was just super fun. I think he maybe played once or twice, but mostly he watched, but like it was just cool that we all got to hang out after in our hotel room and just bond in a way. I don't know if that's the behind the scenes you want, but that's like
no, but that's cute as anything.
Yeah.
I need to know what your Smash main is now.
I haven't played in a minute, but I would go back and forth between Min Min and Pit.
Fair enough.
Yeah. In the older games, I really liked Zelda Sheik, but now I don't like Zelda or Sheik enough on their own.
Yeah.
So I like being a troll with Min Min and usually playing on like a 2v2. And like while my friend who's better than me probably is doing all this stuff in front, I'm just behind like doing all
yes
this stuff, you know.
I'm a Sonic main, so I feel you on the nope, just chaos, let's go.
Yep, exactly.
Nice. What was there anything that like surprised you with the finished product? Because I mean, you obviously are present, but you seen the final product. Anything that stood out to you?
Maybe controversial opinion, I was surprised at how good the CG was. Yes, because this was a relatively low budget production.
Mhm.
We all know that live action anime adaptations don't get a lot of backing from Hollywood.
Yeah.
And so we were already very much an underdog kind of film, doing the best we could. And I was just surprised that it had such great production value. And like the biggest example is the whole car chase scene in the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
we never did a car chase. There was no real car. that was all fake.
Dang.
So
Wow, okay. I believed it. Yeah.
people probably didn't realize. But I saw that and I was like,
didn't.
oh my god, we have a car chase scene? Like,
Wait, a car?
when did they get that? So I think that was a big surprise. And then just the way it all comes together. Sometimes when you see a scene out of context and you're behind the scenes watching it, you're not seeing
Mhm.
through the camera, and you're kind of like, man, like I don't know if this is really doing it. But then they add the music and the cuts and the close-ups, and it's like, oh, this is great. So yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised, honestly.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, quick plug for our thing too of one, check out the film. Two, check out our other interviews with Knights of the Zodiac from the red carpet down below. We're super excited to have you with us this way to dive into it. What kind of like course of action? I mean, you also do acting as well as stunt work, but if someone's interested in getting into stunt work, what would you recommend of something they should start checking out or something they should pursue?
If you are young and trying to get into stunts, I think like giving yourself a good foundation for movement and control over your body is the most important thing. Because at the end of the day, we're physical performers. So having the strength and the structure and the mobility and the adaptability to do pretty much anything under the sun. It's not necessarily that you have to be able to do everything already, but you have to have the capacity to learn things quickly. Like, for example, I didn't know Eagle Claw before I did this, but I had a foundation in movement to the point where I could learn something close enough to it in the short period of time. So whether that's dance or gymnastics or any martial art, I think is a great thing to start training. And then as you get older, if you're in a location like LA or Atlanta or New York, one of the film hubs, just find the gyms that stunt people train at. In LA, it's Jam Joining All Movement, which is in Reseda, and then also Tempest in Northridge. Start training at those places, meet people, and then film on your own. Do fight practices. If you're not interested in fights, but you're more interested in cars, go to the driving clinic, take a class, meet those people. And from there, like once you take those first few steps, everything else will start to kind of happen because you'll meet the people who say, okay, you're interested in this, now go to this person. And it's like a choose your own adventure game a little because there's 50 million different paths you can take. And once you get started, you just get to customize from there. But hard work and being a good person are the most important things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As with anything.
Yeah, like with any movie town, networking is important.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we don't have agents as stunt people, very rarely. We get our jobs through a phone call from a friend because they know someone and they said they needed someone who looked like you. And so it's all just word of mouth. So they have to know you and they have to like you and trust you.
Yeah.
Referring to that, word of mouth, yes, and know you. We had a question from the chat. How long was the training with Mac and you?
It was, I'd say, a month, maybe like a month of proper training, and then maybe another month of in and out. We got more actors coming in as well, so it wasn't like every single day. But he'd come in to work the choreography, and then, they're all having to go and do like wardrobe and rehearsals and all that jazz. But our whole previs prep time, I think, was about 2.5 months. and he was there for, I'd say, about 2 months of it.
Cool.
All right.
Got some other comments from the chat. We got, I love you, Marin.
Oh, thank you.
Caitlin, I love you, Marin. You did an excellent job.
Ooh, woo, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, the uwu.
Can't forget
The uwu is what makes it.
I'm so in love with Caitlin. Marin was the best character in the film. Huge hugs from Ecuador.
All
right.
Thank you.
And then this was referring to other comment, but still shout out someone else commenting in the chat. So excited faces. Yes. Have you actually noticing, reactions from other places? What has the international, local reaction? Have you been surprised, or, that's cool to have somebody from a different place to be like, I loved you, and like around the world, but
Yeah, it's been largely a fan base from Latin America. I think most of the comments I get are people from Ecuador and Brazil and other places in Latin America. I think because the original anime and manga were so popular in those countries.
Yeah.
I think China was another place where it was really popular. Ironically, like Japan and the US, it didn't catch quite as much traction.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's done the best in general in Latin America. And that's really cool for me because, it's fun to get to contact people from other parts of the world. And every once in a while, I try to respond in Spanish. My Spanish is really bad, but it's like pulling from the archives of high school, occasionally using Google Translate. But I want to be able to interact with everybody who got a positive impact from it. So
nice. Well, we got
That's
Ecuador.
great.
We also got Peru. Nice.
Peru.
Nice.
Another specific question. How was it wearing a knight armor, and was it difficult to move with it?
Yeah, it was tough. If you can imagine doing kung fu in European medieval armor, the mobility of those things are not conducive to one another. And obviously it wasn't metal armor, but it was still plated.
Yeah.
It's still bulk on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't raise my wherever the shoulder piece was, like arm couldn't raise above here. The boots were quite heavy and I couldn't point my toes, which was a big pet peeve for me because looking at some of the choreo, I'm like, my feet aren't pointed, but it's not because I didn't point them, it's because I couldn't point them. And it's the little things, like most people won't notice that. But I got used to it. The mask, obviously a big challenge.
Yeah.
Visually and also breathing wise.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
See, but breathing's even more important.
These are important things.
Ooh,
Yeah. I remember they had us do one fight sequence. They kind of combined a bunch of shots into a giant master. They had a big, like a camera on a four-wheeler just going back and forth, and they were like, just keep doing it over and over again. I was like, oh my gosh. I would try to lift the mask a little to get a little extra breath and then put it back down. And the inside was plastic, so I'm just sweating.
But at
But
least you don't have to do makeup every day,
Yes.
Yeah.
And I actually
Just hair.
I think I prefer that to having to put on makeup every day. I do not
That's
like
fair.
sitting in the makeup chair.
Yeah.
Word.
Then here we go. Giga Derek says, did you have any breathing techniques?
I hadn't watched Demon Slayer yet. So so no. And maybe that was my undoing. Now I would be able to channel something and probably fare a lot better. At the time, I was just on the struggle bus.
And I think on that note.
Well, and then one quick question, because we did ask the on the red carpet too, and so we'd like to ask you. John Knight says, have you watched Knights of the Zodiac anime, or had you ever read the manga? Or how familiar were you with the title prior to this?
Zero familiar. Not at all. And then I did not watch the entire original anime. I do apologize. I watched the parts with Marin.
The important parts.
Yeah, trying to just get a sense of the character. I watched some of the new one too. But we won't talk about that one too much. But it was, the live action was kind of a combination of all of the lore that's been created. So watched a little bit of everything, but also wanted to be able to create something a little unique, because I think that's the challenge of an adaptation is whether you honor the source material to a T or you do a derivative of it, you're never going to please everybody. So you kind of just have to do the best you can and just like know that you did what you could.
Yeah, whatever you do, you just got to execute.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'd say one last fun one that was also asked. What is your zodiac sign and do you feel it fits?
What do you guys think my zodiac sign is?
I am so bad at guessing them.
We talked about this at one point and I forgot. So
about it. Well, I'm a Scorpio. Well, right. Scorpio is my Western zodiac, and then I am a rat as a Chinese zodiac.
Nice.
So I'm all the vermin. I don't think I'm too vermin-y, but I certainly have some qualities, like the ambition and the dry sense of humor for sure. But I think I'm like a I don't know. I'm on the lighter end of Scorpio. I'm a rising Aquarius, so whatever that means. Maybe it softens it or something.
Someone out there's already making a chart.
Oh, I'm sure. They're going to email me with my whole breakdown. Actually, the story for another time, but had a guy at the dog park break down my whole astrological chart and try to use it as a reason to sleep with me. It was a whole thing.
Whoa! At the dog park?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It started to get dark, and I was like, oh, I think my dog needs to go home. Bye. Anyway.
Wow. Getting a couple more from the chat too. Caitlin, your performance was very great. The best of the movie. Saludos desde Mexico.
Gracias. Muchas gracias.
And then we also had this one too. You were excellent. Greetings from Colombia.
Nice. Thank you. Oh, that's so cool.
I mean, I feel like we could keep going forever, but we do have more of our show to continue So everybody, if you want to stick around, we are going to be talking about Demon Slayer as well as some anime news off the top. But huge congratulations to you, Caitlin, for being part of that film. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm going to go tonight, but I would love to chat with you guys more about other things in the future. So we'll stay in touch.
Absolutely.
And then go follow her over on Instagram with that handle to be up to date on all the other fun and exciting things that you're up to.
And fighting things.
And the fighting
things. And fighting things,
That is accurate.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you again and have a good night.
Thank you so much, guys. Good night.
Bye.
See ya. She's great.
Right.
She's so good.
Lovely. Oh, we have one more. Yes, we agree. We love you, Caitlin. Yes, quite.
Yes.
Oh, and I like this. Giga Derek says his sign was a dumpster.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
Fair. Absolutely fair. To all of the lovely new humans who joined us for the interview, thank you so much. Please feel free to stick around. We're going to talk about a little anime news. We're going to talk about the goings on in Overwatch League. And then we are going to cover the most recent episode of Demon Slayer, the one that aired yesterday. So, hang around, chat with us. We have fun here.
I had two more quick ones I want to get to because these were fun too. Wow, Scorpio, that explains it all. That's why you're so talented. Nice. And your interpretation of Marin was the best from the movie for me. Thank you for your hard work and hard time breathing too. Yes. I love hearing all the time. Also, I was going to say,
that's always a blast.
Follow us over on NTATNB on Twitter. We post there a lot of the photos of things we're talking about as well as other updates. So let's get into it on the news. All the news up. I was going to say, speaking of language, and we were talking about Spanish and speaking Spanish, something very exciting for anybody wanting to learn a language. This is not sponsored, by the way, but
it is not.
Duolingo and Crunchyroll have partnered up, and they're having lines from anime in the Japanese language learning. I've tried out the Japanese language learning on Duolingo, and I'll be totally candid. I already took Japanese in college, so I got some of the basic structure. So just go with it because you're going to have to learn the alphabet first. And that is a little
Yeah.
tricky for first timers, but it's so worth it. And Duolingo, it feels like a game. And I think that's really fun that those two partnered up. So yeah, starting today, Duolingo's Japanese course will feature over 9,000, nearly 50 phrases inspired by fan favorite popular anime series. And you know, learning language is already hard enough as is. So making it fun is a great way to do it. So I think that's really awesome that Crunchyroll and Duolingo, it's a good pairing. Yeah. And I think that'd be really fun. If you've played or, you know, done that, let us know. Let us know your thoughts on it.
Yeah. And if you follow Crunchyroll on Instagram, they've been having some Crunchyroll Hime and Duolingo comics, as they sometimes do.
Yes.
And they really lean into that whole joke about if you don't practice, the Duolingo owl is coming to get you. Like, have you not heard those?
No.
Oh my God, really?
I would say that it's funny, though, in the sense of it's like any language thing, though. If you don't practice it, it's just going to disappear.
There's just this joke about this, you know, cute, innocuous little owl mascot, like, coming to get you.
That's funny.
The best I've seen is a pair of notifications on someone's phone where it's the Duolingo one saying, you didn't practice today, and then Ring camera notification, something's at your back door.
That's funny. Yeah, John Knight. Nani? Yeah, that's one.
Yeah.
Like if you watch anime, that's the thing too. If you've watched enough anime, you probably have learned some Japanese words and you're not even quite aware that you know. So it's worth trying, and it's also just, you know, a good thing for your brain and overall well-being, trying to learn something new and get that muscle going. Yeah. All right. And
I have no segue for this, but
that's okay.
We're going to talk more about movies because we are always very excited to see anime movies, anime adaptations, etc. in the theater. That's always very fun. So to that point, Crunchyroll sets North American summer theatrical release date for Psycho Pass Providence. So for those of you who are big Psycho Pass fans, you are getting more. Psycho Pass Providence is the newest addition to the fan favorite sci-fi thriller Psycho Pass franchise, continuing the story of I almost said young prospector. That's different. Young Inspector Akane Tsunemori and the authoritarian Sybil system in futuristic Japan. Crunchyroll will bring the film to global audiences in summer 2023, with theatrical dates for international territories to be announced soon. So North America, the popular sci-fi dystopian thriller arrives in theaters on July 14th in North America, with a special advanced fan sneak peek showings on July 11th and 13th. Additional release dates in summer 2023 for Australia, UK and Ireland, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France. There is a very long list of countries. So many places. In North America, the film will be available both in Japanese with English subtitles as well as a dubbed English cast. So July 11th and 13th for the fan screenings, July 14th for wider release. It's the week after Anime Expo. So check that out, especially if you are a Psycho Pass fan. You are going to be eating well this summer.
I don't know if I said it and I had my mute on because I drank my water, but I was going to be like, Monday.
Big Monday energy. Like, you were muted, but
that's okay.
That is how we do.
But I was going to say, actually, speaking of Anime Expo, yes, if you're new here too, we need to play the safe drinking game of how many fun segues can we do on this show. So speaking of Anime Expo, G Kids and Toei Animation are hosting the first Slam Dunk, and it's going to have its North American premiere at Anime Expo. So that's exciting. It will be on Monday, July 3rd at 12 p.m. Pacific at the main events hall at the Los Angeles Convention Center. Ooh, this is exciting. Special giveaway. The first 2,500 guests will receive the first Slam Dunk souvenir booklet. So if you're planning to be at Anime Expo, you're interested in the movie, here's your way to see it and be the first 2,500 people, and you get a free booklet. So stay on the lookout for that. We recommend lining up early. Lines at AX are a lot. So get in line early and go check it out and let us know what you thought of the film.
Also, double check early to make sure it's not a ticketed panel. Sometimes panels are ticketed and you have to throw in months beforehand. So, like,
Yes.
if you're interested in this, and you should be, definitely do your research to make sure you can get in. Because
Yeah.
AX can be a wild one.
Yes, it's quite the wild card.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Continuing in the vein of anime movies, we have mentioned this before, but I am still very, very excited. G-Kids to release latest feature from acclaimed director Keiichi Hara, Lonely Castle in the Mirror, in select theaters nationwide on June 21st and 22nd only. So that is in like a day less than a month. That is
Very
coming
soon.
up. Yes, I'm very excited for this one. It had its international premiere at the Rotterdam International Film Festival, marking the first time a Japanese animated feature was selected for the festival, and had its US premiere at New York International Children's Film Festival, and was nominated for the Japan Academy Prize for Animation of the Year, and was a box office hit in Japan. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. This is get pulled into a castle with a bunch of other girls, play a game. If you lose, you get eaten by a wolf. So we need to figure out what's going on here. So I'm here for fantasy adventure with Saw Trap Billy going, I want to play a game. Like, I'm here for, except instead of Billy, it's a little girl in a wolf mask. Like, I'm here for this. This movie sounds amazing. I want
And
it.
if you haven't watched the trailer and if you haven't checked out any images yet, you can go to our NTATMB Twitter page to go check those out. Because I posted some photos from it as well as a link to the trailer. So in case you haven't seen that yet.
Yes.
Yes. And then not a film, but a show. Crunchyroll will have Mashal. I'm like, how do we say this word?
Mashal.
Mashal, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mashal, Magic and Muscles. I like it. It's magic. Okay, I get it. Mashal, yeah. Magic and Muscles.
Yeah, I get it. All right.
I get it.
The portmanteau. I understand.
Mashal. English dub premieres on May 26th on Crunchyroll. So also some of the additional cast members have been announced. And let me just open that. This picture's too small on my email. But one of them, I do see Alex Lee, who we've interviewed on this channel as well. And I think there's a couple other people we've interviewed. So go check that out. And trying to see anything else. Also, let us know, did you go to the Anime Central Aniplex panel that was on May 20th in Chicago? They had a panel. If you went, let us know. Leave a comment. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
The press release
gonna say.
There we go. Brian Anderson, Stephen Fu, Ben Diskin, and Anjali Kunapani. Apologies if I said these wrong in my Monday eyes trying to read things. But those are the English casts, and excited to have you. We'll post a picture of that as well, and go check them out on the English dub on May 26th on Crunchyroll.
Yeah. Speaking of further anime and also ASEN, we had Crunchyroll's industry panel at Anime Central on Saturday, May 20th.
Said Harry Potter and One Punch Man. Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, pretty much. And they announced the following title acquisitions. So we have Horimiya, The Missing Pieces. We have The Great Cleric, which looks like another fun little isekai. We have Rent-a-Girlfriend Season 3, for those of you who are Rent-a-Girlfriend fans. We have Am I Actually the Strongest, which is yet another isekai, another one of those fun little rule breakers. We have I'm in Love with the Villainess, isekai. We have I Shall Survive Using Potions, say it with me, isekai. And MF Ghost, not an isekai. Sci-fi car racing for that one. If you are an isekai fan, you are eating well. If you are a Rent-a-Girlfriend fan, you are eating well. And if you are into sci-fi car races, you will also be eating well. So keep an eye out for those on Crunchyroll in the summer season.
Yes.
I believe it's the summer season.
I think we had a couple more people joining. Hello, Claudio. And referring to Marin from earlier as well. So if you're joining us later, you can check out and you're watching this live,
Yes.
Wait till the episode's all done, and then you can scroll to the beginning to watch the interview.
Yes.
Yes. So now, actually, speaking of more anime, Overwatch League is an anime.
Yes. Okay. We had a weekend, fam. We had a weekend. So part of this, one of the things to keep in mind is that in the APAC region, we have the knockouts going on. So they are in full-on tournament mode in the APAC region. And to that end, we have them divided into two groups, and we have contenders, which for those of you who are not as familiar with Overwatch League, contenders is their minor league. Contenders is where they can play and hone their craft, etc., and then get pulled up to the major league teams. So for the first time this year, we have contenders teams playing in these tournaments against league teams. And generally speaking, the APAC contenders teams have done a little better than some of the EU contenders teams, but the competition is very stiff regardless. On the NA side, we didn't have we had no map 5s this weekend. We had a lot of 3 Overwatch. We had a lot of blowouts. We had a lot of, well, I thought this was going to be close, but I guess not. And we had a lot of, this was not in any capacity going to be close. Look at me, I predicted the future. I'm extremely biased. The Outlaws won. Yay. We didn't really have many upsets. Just in terms of what we saw this weekend, much of it was expected. Boston pulled it together. It's one of those teams where they have the talent. Can they swing the execution? And the answer is yes, but we still have yet to see how well they play against the really, really good teams. The Atlanta Reign, the Houston Outlaws, the Florida Mayhem. Like, those are kind of our top 3. We have yet to see how Boston breaks against them. We have yet to see how well Vancouver really does against them, because Vancouver is definitely rising up through the ranks of the middle teams, but we need to see how they handle one of those really tough challenges. So Outlaws played this week. Outlaws did great. Mayhem and Atlanta both had a bye week. So we will see what happens when they are thrown back into the mix next week. See if anything gets super unpredictable. In the East, for our play-ins, we had upsets I was not expecting. We had SPG, a contenders team, take down the Shanghai Dragons in a map 5. We had the Hangzhou Spark take down the Seoul Dynasty, and both of them have been fairly variable this season. So to see Hangzhou pulling ahead was interesting. I was fully expecting O2 Blast after they won their first game, because they are one of the APAC contenders teams. O2 Blast is always very powerful and very steady. I was fully expecting them to take the Soul Inferno, and they took them to a map 5, but then they lost. So because this is a double elimination bracket, all of our contenders teams, all of our losing teams are still very much in, but the ones who lost are now at the disadvantage of, if they lose again, they are out. So if you are interested in watching some contenders teams hang with the pro teams, it's always very fun to watch that go down. My recommendation is generally catch the VOD. Because they play in APAC, they start playing at 1 p.m. Pacific. So, like, if you're working the night shift, it's great. Otherwise, recommend catching it the next day, because it's like 7 hours of games while they're doing 4 matches a day. So, yes, Overwatch proceeded much as expected in the NA side and was a rollicking blast on the APAC side. Will be very interesting to see how next week goes down.
Nice.
Yes.
And then if you're new here, she will happily provide you a team to root for.
I will absolutely provide you a team to root for. I will include the contenders teams that we have in contention right now, which I don't normally, but like, give me a color or a location or just a vibe, and I will give you a team.
Yes. Actually, as well, speaking of a vibe, Demon Slayer, my goodness, we are here for that.
What a buck wild episode.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely buck wild episode.
Katie, can you feel my aura?
So Here's what I love about this. We had our demon, we had our emotions pulling back together to become a brand new emotion, so we no longer have pleasure, joy, anger, and not fear, sadness.
Yeah.
They have all pulled together to become hatred. And hatred talks like he's the teenage shonen protagonist of his own anime, which is hysterical. And watching this with my roommate, her commentary was, oh, he doesn't just have hatred, he has righteous indignation. Like, oh no, you're right.
Yes. And I love the like record scratch moment where Tanjiro's like, what? No. Who knew gaslighting was a blood demon on it? Yes,
but
Giga
just
Derek.
the very much
Yes.
like, you've eaten hundreds and hundreds of people. Like, how dare you
don't
call me
know
the
them.
villain? Yeah, it's this very big difference in philosophy. And I really do appreciate when Demon Slayer does this, because so much of Demon Slayer is just compassion is the right answer. Like, yes, sometimes if it's a man-eating monster, you really do need to take it down. But then you sit here and go, oh, this is how they got this way. There was a lack of compassion in their lives. They were not treated well. They were treated as not human. And so they became not human. So not all of them have a sympathetic backstory. Like, we don't really care about the one who became the train. Still a little about that guy. But
also the vase dude, I'm like, that guy was a weirdo before.
Don't care. Just not here for the vase guy. Just But seeing this clash of philosophies with, you've eaten 100 humans. Well, you didn't know them. If I let you go, you'll eat more. Well, you don't know them either. What does it matter? Why do I need a reason to care about other people? Like, you don't need a reason to care about other people. It's basic human compassion.
Yep.
And I understand that there are some people who are low empathy. There are some people who, even if you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes, you can still care about what happens to them. Low empathy does not mean not caring.
Right.
So, yeah, just again, very much going for the soft boy shonen protagonist with the, yes, it's important to care about other people. Yes, I care that you would kill someone because it's someone. It's a people. Like, I don't have to know them to care about their lives.
Also, I agree with this one too. Charles points out there is definitely some kind of message with anger absorbing joy, pleasure, and sadness to become hatred. Yes, because that's the other thing too of it. There's some levels in there, so I thought that was interesting as well, and I like the literal like radiating off, because when you are that angry and hatred and like that, it was like, so I thought that was a cool visual representation of it. Rock Monster, though, I'm like, where'd you come from?
I mean, that's what we got to see in the opening, though.
Yeah, but we're like,
dragon heads.
Yes, but you're like, wait, how does that connect? Okay, we got another hit something, and we have our action, which is cool.
We got the drums. It's again, it's so many of these are like, this is a reference, and I don't know enough about the culture to be able to pull it directly out of my brain meats. Like, do I know what this is referencing? No, but I can at least go, that's something. Every single emotion this demon has been based on something.
I was excited to remember it. I'm like, yes. And the thing that we talked about and you pointed out of like, hey, if you do something good for somebody, it's going to come back and help you out. Ta-da. But I was
vindication.
Like, but is this kid okay though? I'm like, I don't know.
I just had to laugh because the little demon that did it was like a fish on crab legs with can openers for arms. It was the can opener demon that did it. And I think
was hoping you could pick it up and use it as a weapon.
Yeah. Well, and it's also just this. If it had been another one of those big shambling fish demons, like, the kid would have outright died. But this is about the right size to deal with something small and to still kind of have that dramatic but survivable, still able to continue on and do the thing. Like, it was an appropriate sized problem.
Charles says some people were sharing images of a Japanese god with those ring of drums and summoning Hydra dragons.
Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you. What? Yeah. That's good storytelling. When if you know what it is, you're like awesome and context and interesting. If you don't know what it is, you're like this is awesome and interesting, and then maybe you'll learn about context after.
Because Anger was also like styled after a priest with the staff with the rings and whatnot. So like, I'm sure all of them were like, there's something there. I'm pretty sure the Wind Fan
Even
has
the
some
leaf.
mythological basis. Like, yeah. Although, not gonna lie, when we saw the formation of hatred, I just went full Yoda. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hatred, hatred leads to suffering. Just like,
well,
yep.
Well,
exactly.
Yes. But yes, back to our missed Hashira getting out of it and remembering it's his dad that has the same so much around. You're like,
just hearing these bits of dialogue that sound like Tanjiro could have said them, and he's sitting there going, but Tanjiro didn't say that to me. So who was it? It's like, oh, Dad has the same color eyes as Tanjiro. Oh, it was Dad. Oh, it was Dad. Oh, and I'm like, yeah, he's dead. Just your whole family is waxed, child.
Yes.
Just waxed.
The other thing that I was like, yes, we get our swordsmith face reveal. Okay.
That man is unfairly hot.
Yes, I was like, I'll admit, I was expecting older and not attractive.
I had seen a manga panel, so I knew.
Okay.
Because I'd seen a friend talking about it, and she was like, how dare they hide that? And I looked at that and went, oh, it's the Inosuke effect. Right?
Yeah, a little bit. But I guess just his behavior made me think he was a lot older and like almost grumpy old man. And then I'm like, who is this hot thing?
She's like, oh, hello. Hi. What?
Well, someone says late 30s. I thought 30s isn't old. I'm thinking more like late 40s going into 50s, which that's not old either. But in comparison to Chandra, who's like 17, 50s is old. But still,
more
I
than
imagine
enough leeway to kids these days.
Yeah. But I thought he was so cool. He actually has a little bit similar look in that moment to, I'm blanking on his name, but the a character from Dr. Stone, the villain caveman guy in the first season, like just the hair and the stylization of the face. But he's also handsome too. But yeah, I thought that was like, why not? Let's add that extra layer of like, actually, he's a really good looking dude too.
Yeah, let's just go for it.
Yeah.
I appreciated the single-minded focus to the point of ignoring everything. And I love the, like, I hate his focus. As an artist, I feel intimidated. I don't want to kill him. I want to break his focus. And I'm like, okay, 5 is going to die because he's being a petty bitch. And I love that.
I loved it too. I was like, I like that he's getting mad and he's like, I could just kill him, but that'd be boring. I need to break his concentration. And it didn't work.
It's like, I need to break his focus. He's so focused on this. As an artist, I can't do that. So I need to break his focus. I need to validate me. Like, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Cool. Great.
Yes.
Awesome. Hate that for you. But now we have a freed Hashira right behind him, so.
Actually tied into how he was able to withstand the, attack. I liked our post-episode credit scene where he's training. So I'm like, hey, he needs to, it's working mind, body, and soul. And then, yes, cannot accept someone being a better artist than himself. Yes.
Again, he is going to get killed because he's being a petty bitch, and I am here for it.
I am so here for it. Yes.
I love it. It's so stupid. Let's go.
Yeah. I think those are the main, huge, exciting things. Yeah. It was one of those same idea. Like, there's a lot and not a lot that happened, but some of the big things that happened were like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like, it's one thing to be like, here's a new reveal, we're having fun, here's a new twist, here's a new whatever. It's another thing to be able to be like, and let's dig into the lore this reveals. And when you're in the middle of big old fight scenes, you get a lot of big reveals and a lot of actions. You don't get a lot of sink your teeth in and let's go.
Yep.
So yeah, it makes it feel like, boy, we only talked about it for 10 minutes? Well, yeah, the other 12 minutes were great animation and frankly phenomenal compositing.
Yes.
Like,
And-
the animation is good, solid, fun stuff. The compositing is what really puts it over the edge. And for those going, what's the difference? Compositing is the ability to marry the 2D animation with the 3D effects, whether you are using a 3D background, a 3D render for characters, NPCs, livestock, whatever, and make it look good. So sometimes you'll be watching something and going, oh, you can definitely tell that's CG there. Like, it doesn't quite fit. Maybe the compositing isn't up to snuff. There were some bits in Attack on Titan where it's like, the budget was not in the compositing for this one. I can understand why they CG'd this particular thing, but also, oh boy, the compositing. Whereas compositing is one of those things that Demon Slayer is incredibly good at. And they need to be because so much of their stuff is 3D effect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, the animation is stellar. The animation's good stuff. The compositing is what brings it all the way up to 11.
That is definitely it's ufotable, right? I was like,
oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, yes.
Chef's kiss.
Ufotable is unbelievably good at that stuff.
And then, yes, if there's anything else that stood out to you of this episode in general, and again, only up to this point in the anime, no manga spoilers, please, leave a comment down below.
Yes. And now we got to wait a whole week for it. It's like, no.
Oh my gosh, I get to the point where I'm like, cliffhanger too, because now you like know it's coming. You're like, it's going to be now. And I'm like, no, Cass says. But I'm
sometimes
excited.
It's like, oh yeah, I can totally tell when. And sometimes you get there like, oh, this will be a cliffhanger. And then it's the episode break. And you're like, it's only been 8 minutes?
Yep.
What?
That's
so,
Yep.
It gets a little wild. Bless this show. It's madness.
Oh, it's so good. All right. Ooh, looking over the chat. Yes, we are missing a Hashira. We did not get anything with our love Hashira this episode. So I'm excited.
She's busy saving the NPCs.
Yes.
I'm sure that she will show up because of what we saw in the opening scene. Like, in the opening theme, rather. Like, I think we're going to see her fighting our top 4, as it were. Fighting our terrible protagonist of his own anime, evil villains, like, or awful villains. That's what it was. Buddy. And pointing out that, like, hatred is younger than the rest of them. Like, that's also fair. That's also fair. It is very easy to get led along by the nose before you have a lot of life experience. So it doesn't surprise me. And it's not a, oh, kids these days thing. It's a, if you don't know as much, if you don't have context, if you don't have a lot of lived experience, or if you don't know a lot of people outside of your usual norms, social circles, etc., like, it's very easy to draw judgments and think that everything needs to be a certain way. Like, I was raised a certain way by my parents, and then I went to college in a completely different state, and then I had a very large social circle and lived in a much larger city in a completely different state, and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, suddenly I know all of these people that we'd been talking about in abstract, and that really changes things. And young people, your brain doesn't stop developing until you're like 25, so it changes a lot. It changes a lot.
I was looking at this comment too of Gikaderic says we can sacrifice a few NPCs. Hey now.
One of them is the village chief.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna go with nah.
You're like, wait a minute, no.
Just because they're NPCs doesn't mean they're not important.
Yeah. Yes.
Still need
all right.
Yes. Escort mission for a reason.
I had a transition. They've moved on, but moving on. Other things, stuff you should check out. So these are different books, movies, shows, whatever we're watching, and we think you should check out. And if you're watching, reading, whatever, gameplay, whatnot, let us know down in the comments what you recommend to other people. I was like, what did I get through this week? I'm very slowly making my way through. Oh, okay, that's what I did watch. I was like, oh yes, that. So I was very, very behind. I finally saw Wakanda Forever. I enjoyed it. I understand some complaints people made about it. It is sad in its own way, but I think they handled it very well. I really like that they address how different people grieve, and I don't think that's featured much in movies that much. Like generally, it's one type, and it's like, no, there's different ways that people process. And then that's kind of it, because I have other stuff and I haven't finished it, and I'll give my review on them when I'm done. But that's my main one. And then early with somebody things looking ahead, but shout out, John Knight says 5 more days until my birthday. Early happy birthday.
Yeah, mine was last week.
Yes,
May
and
babies.
Belated happy birthday to Katie.
We have fun.
Yay! Katie, what about you? Things you would recommend?
We're still in Tears of the Kingdom hell. And we are going to continue to be in Tears of the Kingdom hell because we need like a good... I say we. My roommate is playing it. I'm watching and offering advice that sometimes works and sometimes really hecking doesn't. And it's hilarious. You can totally make it to that river. You can totally make it to that body of water. Ooh, all right, I was wrong. So sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. But yeah, we need a good solid weekend of playing to be able to advance the story. Couple of hours a night doesn't work quite as well, but you know, that's where we are. Adults with jobs, etc.
I know, right? I'm like, in life. Yeah.
So it's basically just been Tears of the Kingdom, and there is nothing wrong with that because it's such a well-built open world game. Like, if you haven't played Breath of the Wild, you're going to be a little lost in terms of the story and some of these characters. It is a direct sequel. It gives you brand new mechanics to play with that really open up the world and really let you do some crazy stuff. Like, there is a construction mechanic. So for everyone who's seeing like Tears of the Kingdom and seeing what is happening to that Korok, and did that guy build a mech? The answer is yes. Because if you have enough parts and energy, you can do that. So it's a wild one. It's completely bug nuts. The little bits of the story that we've gotten so far, no spoilers, have been wonderful. So yeah, I will probably be saying, yeah, all the new stuff we did this week was Tears of the Kingdom for a chunk of time because it is that good. It is, for me, definitely worth like putting a few other things on hold to be like, no, let's do Tears of the Kingdom. This is fun. And it's, again, just as much fun watching it and trying to problem solve and offering suggestions. And God bless my roommate for not throwing the controller at me for the 3 times that we hit the ground at terminal velocity because I made a bad call and she went with it.
But that's a good game, like where you can analyze, is a game only good for the player or can people watch and enjoy? And that's cool that it can be both.
Yeah. I mean, so much of the open world Zelda games, both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, are puzzle solving. That is a lot of the little side quests, and that is a lot of the shrines that you do that, you know, you finish the shrine, you get the orb, it makes you a little stronger, you get some hearts, whatever. So there's usually a way to solve a shrine, or a way to do something, but there's also usually 4 or 5 other completely buck wild ways that you can figure out. Like we had this was in Breath of the Wild, so it's been a few years. I don't care about spoilers on this one. There is a shrine where, if you've ever seen like those mazes where you have a ball and you have to tilt it to get it to go where you want it to go, it was one of those. But it had a few gaps in strategic places, and you had to use like the motion on the Switch controllers, which isn't always the best. But the fun thing that I discovered, because it was, you know, trying to do it, not working. She handed over the controller. I tried it, not working. I flipped the controller over. The whole maze flipped over, so we got the solid bottom side. And then when the ball fell again, I flipped it back and basically used it as a ping pong paddle to hit the ball where it needed to go. And it worked.
That's cool that it was built that way, that you could,
Yeah. Like, I wasn't expecting it to fully flip over. We were at the point of, we're both loopy, this puzzle is taking too long, we're losing our entire minds. Will this work? Oh my god, it worked. One of the dumber things we've done in that game, but sometimes the dumb stuff works really well.
Gigaderic said, playing Destiny 2 in the new season starts tomorrow. Season of the Deep, we might fight Cthulhu.
As you do.
As well as a new episode of Hell of a Boss came out on Saturday. Very fun.
That was very good.
I haven't checked out that show yet, but I've heard good things. I've wanted to watch. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Same creator as Has Been Hotel. And
I wanted to check out that one too.
Yeah, there's only one episode of Has Been because it got picked up by A24. So they're doing like the full season recast, like everything. Has Been, it's going to be a minute before we see more of it, but the pilot is available on YouTube and it's a lot of fun. Hell of a Boss is kind of a spinoff. It is about a company of imps who their business model is that someone hires them to assassinate someone in the human world and they go and do it. And just the weird shenanigans, the stuff that happens, their interpersonal relations, dealing with trauma badly, dealing with romance badly. And yet somehow the one like solid couple in there is just goals. So Hell of a Boss is definitely not animation for kids. And if you're not comfortable with swearing, violence, and sex, it's also not gonna be a fun one for you. Like, this is very much adult animation. I love it. It's the pilot that they put out was extremely subpar. And then they redid some things. And the first episode that they put out was incredible. And it's just been steady quality from there. Good stuff.
Where do you watch Hell of a Boss?
YouTube.
All right.
It is on Vivzy Pop's YouTube channel.
And Gigaderic says Has Been Hotel is set for a summer release this year.
I'll believe it when I see it. Like, thank you. Awesome. Amazing. I will absolutely believe it when I see it. I don't trust anything that without something in front of me. Like I said, I didn't believe we had a FNAF movie until the trailer dropped last week. On the 16th, happy birthday to me, they gave me a FNAF trailer. Five Nights at Freddy's, for those not as in.
It looks cool. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so freaking excited. It's just...
How are you going to survive? It's a horror movie.
This is my shit. Like, I am really into the haunted animatronic subgenre of horror. And FNAF was what did it. And given what we saw in the trailer, odds are very good this is going to be a PG-13 movie. Because it's releasing the same day as Saw 10, I think? Are we on 10? It's releasing the same day as the next Saw movie, which normally you would not let your horror movies compete. But I don't think they're going for the same audience because FNAF is so popular with kids. It would be a mistake to give it an R rating and cut off so many people who are so into it. So yeah, I think we're looking at a PG-13 rating for the FNAF movie, especially given what we've seen in the trailer.
Yep.
But keep in mind, this is the child murder franchise. So, like, if you're not comfortable with the concept, this movie may not be for you.
I thought the trailer looked awesome. I'm excited.
Oh my god, yes, I'm here for this.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here. For checking out Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. And a huge thank you again to our guest, Caitlin, at the beginning of the show. Round of applause. Woo! And if you joined us in the live chat, awesome, and welcome to all the new people who hopped in. And even if you stayed just for the interview, we still love you. And if there's anything else you want to talk about, leave comments down below. Make sure to follow us over on NTATNB on Twitter. Also, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live. And Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you like reaction videos and VODs for the Twitch channel and whatnot, they all live on that channel, including the reaction video for the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer, where we got 47 seconds of teaser trailer and have 45 minutes of video. Because God help us, we do have a fairly solid understanding of the lore, and we had a lot to say. So that is fun. I am also a co-host on Silver Screams, our horror-based YouTube channel. And our most recent talk on that channel was about Evil Dead Rises, where my roommate went to see it and I really super didn't. So we sat down and I interviewed her about the movie and we just had a lovely time. So yeah, lots of horror stuff for,
I know. I was
May.
Yes, I love it. Horror is always fun to have around for sure.
A good time.
Yes, you all can find me online. Yes, there we go. I was like, I picked the right side after, so many episodes we'd remember.
Yeah.
But yes, check me out across all the social webs at Carrie D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. There should be some new interview stuff coming here to the Fan Conversation channel soon. And I'll link that on our Twitter as well. And then on my pages. And actually on my page, I linked on my Twitter and on you can watch on Instagram. I'm in a couple of music videos. I don't know if any of you know, a friend of mine, Mother Victory is what they go by on TikTok and on Instagram. Worked in the music videos and on them, and they're really fun. And one of them's a little more on the PG-13 side, lyrics-wise, so don't play that with the volume loud. But otherwise, it's really fun and colorful. But yeah, they're both available on Instagram and YouTube, and I've linked them on my social channels, so you can go find them there.
All right.
There we go. Back to that. So again, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.